Are you ready to drink wine and talk shit?
Yes.
Okay, let's do it. So, episode 6, I believe. There's a massive discussion about Untucked. It made me want to go watch Untucked. Did I do it? No. It's all about Candy and Tamisha. Candy and Tamisha did a massive argument. RuPaul comes
Yeah.
down like red and white color block suit. Loved it. The mini challenge is pairs have to make fashion of wallpaper. It's the first instance we see of the Mean Girls, which is Gottmik, Tina, and Candy, which is like Rolaska Talks 2.0.
Yeah,
So
whatever.
they make like a sushi inspired shredded train type thing. Rosie and Denali make like a pride outfit, but look like Coraline. Elliot and Tamisha do like a pink leopard, she's housewife, end up winning. Olivia and Utica do like a floral bang, very Florence and the Machine, trippy bitch from festival. And Simone and Lala do like a pizza skirt with pasties, which was kind of shocking. Did anyone there, was anyone great for you?
Nothing stands out like.
Not there. So then the main challenge is discomentary. Apparently RuPaul loves disco, apparently. Discomentary birth of disco is Gottmik, Tina, and Candy, which ends up being awkward. I thought they didn't know what they were doing on stage, apart from Tina. Then Elliot and Tamisha do sex, which is like it was fun to watch. But we find
Yeah.
out Tamisha has an ostomy bag, so she literally has like an open wound to perform with. Utica and Olivia are Studio 54, which is very fun. Olivia loved Transcendent. Then we have Rose and Denali as the fashion queens, two dancers. I Lived was very stunning. And Simone and Alari have Disco Sucks, which RuPaul likes to have a discussion of the burning of the records in Chicago, which was the birth of the Disco Sucks movement.
Girl, the history lesson was boring.
Yeah, it's all very wasn't great. RuPaul expects everyone to know what disco is. RuPaul probably wouldn't know who Saweetie is, Doja Cat, probably Cardi at the start. Like, do you know disco? Because I don't.
No, couldn't tell you what was disco and what wasn't. Like,
yeah, it was very annoying. Like, someone made a point that it's like it's 3 judges trying to tell 20-year-olds, giving out 20-year-olds they don't know what disco is. I'm like, that was the 70s. Like half of them were born after disco. Yeah. So then also, Tamisha has like constant, like, oh, I can't do this because of XYZ injury. Like she came back from cancer. Now we find out she's an ostomy bag. Why does she do this season if she's so injured? Like she could have waited to season 14 or 13.
She doesn't think she would get another chance. This is probably her last chance to do it.
I know, but like imagine having to go on and not be at your standard like performing abilities. Like it's
girl, people vote missing limbs if they got the chance.
I know. But I was just like, oh, I wish like we could see her in her prime, like without all these injuries. Fair play to her, it was just like horrible time for her. Then in the workroom, Olivia had a story about how she was fat. I can relate. Candy had trouble with childhood trauma. Tamisha had a lady growing up that kind of encouraged her to take up like dancing and stuff, which we love. And then RuPaul comes out in this like orange updo pink sequin gown, which was sewn with like a ruffle at the neck. Did anything stand out for you in the workroom with that?
No.
No. And also, if anyone's wondering why we're tearing through this episode, is because I was busy in life, and Drag Race US is kind of boring in comparison to UK. So
I said very boring.
very boring. So then RuPaul's main challenge is, or main fashion away is little black dress. So Tina comes out first of all in this wet paint outfit overall, and then reveals into like that black dress with like the red and yellow leather hands all over it.
Yeah.
Hated it.
Yeah, it wasn't that good. It wasn't very pretty, and the dress was very basic.
Yeah, too short. And then Gottmik comes out in all her nakedness, all her naked glory, and has like her little black dress over her crotch, which I loved. I thought that was very funny and smart.
Yeah, but if you think about it, it's like a 2-second job.
It is, but drag doesn't have to be 7 hours. If something looks as good in 2 seconds as 7 hours, just do the 2 seconds one.
Yeah, probably.
And comes out next in this white Comme des Garçons inspired hand painted dress with the little black dress painted on. I love this. And others just hated it. I loved it.
I thought they would love it because they love anything interesting.
Yeah.
I thought it was. I didn't think it was the worst.
Oh no, not the like. I thought it was. I wear it. It was nice. I liked it. And then Elliot comes out in this like rich little black dress with a cape, very like housewifey. Considering I can't remember much of it, it must have been forgettable.
Elliot's. Yeah, her hair was a bit because it was a really dark root and it was blonde. And I didn't. It was she just had the hard hairline and it seemed like a good wig, but it was a good wig that she didn't do a lot to. It was just like there was a few curls in it.
Yeah. Yeah. And then after Elliot was Tamisha in what looked to be a TK Maxx mother of the bride dress. Hated it.
Yeah, and it was crumply at the front.
Wasn't
It was
ideal.
really. It was all the same color.
And then Olivia comes out looking like an 80s model with stones all over it. I liked it. It's Olivia.
The dress was basic.
Yeah, always done. After her is Yuka in this like chiffon dress with a full bodysuit that we end up finding out it's meant to be her dress as her earrings. I wouldn't have got that.
They never usually do this, but they criticized her for being too creative, if you could imagine that.
Imagine.
That was an interesting thing to hear.
Yeah. After Yuka is Denali in this velvet little black dress with the webs made like a spider. This was nice. I like this. This is interesting.
That was the prettiest she's actually looked so far, in my opinion.
Yeah. Bit of spook. We all have a bit of spook. Then Rose comes out and she has like a black dress with tulle on the side. I get the idea, but she could have had the tulle to actually shape a dress. It looked just like hourglass, but like a loose, wide hourglass.
Yeah, she wore like a suit that was the same as that on her Instagram.
Yeah, she loves the fucking tulle. Then Laurie comes out in this literally a long line top that didn't cover her knickers whatsoever, with a silver necklace. Now I did love it, but the dress was too short.
It wasn't even that. Yeah, it was really short actually. It's actually her hole is eating it.
Yeah. Yeah. And then Simone finally comes out in this like salsa inspired costume with the fringe. What do you think?
Big huge hair and like an emaciated boy body. I don't get what the big deal is.
Yeah. It's fashion.
It's like there's no balance.
Yeah. So then the safe queens are Gottmik, Janai, Rose, Lalari, and Simone. They're safe. Olivia wins the competition, and then the bottoms are Tamisha and Candy, which I was kind of like, that was kind of professionally produced because I was like, they had an argument left, right, and center the whole time. So I was like, whatever. So they lip sync then to Blue Cantrell Hit 'em Up Style Oops, which I loved. That song was so good, and I don't think either of them did it justice.
Oh, Candy did a good job.
Do you think?
I do. She really like, even when she was, she was walking up doing this thing, I was like, oh yeah, she knows this song and it's like one of her jams.
Yeah, I fuck it up. I do love that song. But anyways, Candy Stays has a breakdown that she stays. Like save your tears. Like you have an act like this any other time, but then suddenly you're crying and breaking down because you sent Tamisha home. I didn't get it. But she was anyways, when Tamisha, when she's leaving, said that she looks forward to being back on All Stars. I agree.
Does that not show you though the fact that they were so lovey-dovey on her exit? Does that not show you that like there was like it was either resolved and they didn't show the resolution, or it was a fake argument?
I don't know, like Candy could just be overwhelmed with emotion, and Tamisha, being the mother figure that she is, could have been like, no, it's fine, don't worry about it. But like, it's just so, it was such a departure from what Candy typically does. I was kind of like, I don't particularly care for the tears.
Yeah.
So then Elliot says that she starts to feel lonely and she can't warm up with the rest of the girls, which I suppose is understandable. It's a lot of heavy personalities, so it's hard to break into it. But I suppose that wraps herself up as she starts to open her shell. Then the girls come back in the next day. RuPaul walks down in all black and heels, which I loved. I love RuPaul like playing with gender a bit rather than just a suit one moment and the gown the next. And then to that, the library is open because reading is what?
Fundamental.
Yes, I was so worried you didn't want to do it. I was like, fuck.
Reading is, I don't know.
They all
Reading
gave performances, bar Elliot. Elliot wasn't funny, but there was some funny reads in there. Like Gottmik said to Tina, when you kicked out of the competition, you and those lovely broad shoulders have a great career in the NFL. And I was like, that's funny.
Is it?
Yeah.
I just noticed that like it was like people were deliberately not laughing at Elliot on purpose because they didn't want to give him the satisfaction.
That, and also they never show like all the girls and all the reads, which I would love to see happen, but they never do it, and it's so sad. So then RuPaul announces after that that the main acting challenge is going to be Bossy Rossi after the reboot, which I was not thrilled about because I don't like Ross Matthews. Anyway, the 4 categories or 4 improv challenges are I'm pregnant by my imaginary boyfriend, which is Valerie, Rosé, and Denali. Teen Queens, Where Are They Now? Simone Candy. Cult Escape Biology, which is Utica, Olivia, Got Mick. And last but not least is my friend's 600-pound ass sharing our friendship apart, and that was Tina and Elliot. Which one would you like out of those?
God, they're all so stupid. I don't know. I think maybe Got Mixed one because I felt like I could have done something with that.
Yeah. So they all relatively do well. Rosé and Johnny, tough competition like they literally were very funny in Pregnant by the Imaginary Boyfriend. Rosé was great at acting and like putting things in as if like her imaginary boyfriend was like holding her hand and all that crack. Lalaurie was not great.
Lalaurie was the only person that made me laugh when there was a light flash and she was like, oh, I thought I was in my neighborhood. I thought that was hilarious. Everything else was not funny. I did not laugh once.
Yeah, but that was like her only funny thing to happen, really. Like
she had a funny thing to happen though.
Yeah. And then Teen Queen, Simone Candy. Candy took it back a little bit. It was like, let me try and calm it down, be someone different, which I think worked in her favor.
Yeah, it did, but it's like there wasn't a lot. They were giving her so much praise, and there wasn't really a lot happening. So I don't know what.
No, like she was quite bland in comparison to Simone, but I think because it was such a difference to what she usually does, it was like, okay, she's trying. It wasn't bad. It wasn't great, but it wasn't bad.
She was funny because she's her, and everything she does is just funny. She's just a funny person.
Yeah. Third group, Cult Escape of Mimology, is Utica, Olivia, Gottmik. Gottmik really was funny in this. She was trying to like really plug. She was trying to sell her book, which I loved. Olivia did what she did, and then Utica looked stunning. First of all, she looked unreal and like pure sexy. But for someone who said they did problem as a scene stealer, that was kind of shocking.
Girl, when she came out, I was like, oh, this is going to be so funny. Like, this is going to be really good. And then she started talking and she started doing that thing where they go to like 100 and they stay there for the whole thing, but they keep telling her not to do. She ruined it.
Wasn't a deal. And then last but not least, Tina and Elliot do My 600-Pound Ass is Sharing My Friendship Apart. Tina was over the top, which was fine for what it was. I didn't think Elliot did a bad job in this. I thought Elliot.
I think she was trying to give levels, which is what I keep saying.
She was like very shy, and then there's a massive like reel of the boobs. And I thought they really kind of amped up from then onwards. I don't think it was terrible by any thing imagination. Now, if I was her, when Tina was trying to crawl onto her face to get cunnilingus, they should have done a bit where like Elliot died. as if like she was smothered by the ass and then like be dragged off. That would have been more funny.
It was already so slapstick. I was like, if they do anything like that, it's just ridiculous. Like, it's already ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like, can you imagine if this was the UK challenge? They would have fucking like, oh, they would have been so funny. But like, I think it's just the American humor. It's hard to swallow.
Yeah. I mean, they weren't funny by any stretch of imagination, any of them, because it's American, it's US Drag Race. We kind of were like, oh, I can see why it'd be funny, but it's
But this
not like.
was particularly bad.
I didn't think it was particularly bad. I just didn't think it
Oh,
was as
girl, it was so bad. It was so bad. I was embarrassed. I was actually tearing up because I was so embarrassed for them. I was like, how much, like, they all were saying, oh wow, you did so good in that. And I was like, if I was there, I would have been like, girl, like, you're idiots. Like, nobody's funny. Like, what's the point?
So we look forward to seeing Serena on UK Drag Race season 5 when she's going to win the crown apparently. So then we're in the workroom after Simone. Her trauma is that her brother is in prison for armed robbery, so she feels like she can't act a fool or do anything different because her mother wouldn't handle it well. So that's why she is Simone. And then Elliot and Tina have a talk about depression, but it's so forced. It's like so produced. I was like, did you really have to drag Tina over for Elliot to say, I have massive clinical depression? I was like, look, I get it. Who's not depressed?
I didn't think it was produced.
You didn't think it was produced?
But I mean, it was leading up to, well, yeah, it was leading up to Elliot having her storyline moment because she was going into the bottom. But
yeah,
like, that conversation didn't seem forced. Like, it actually seemed like she genuinely had a real concern, and Tina genuinely seemed hard for her.
There was definitely a real connection. I just feel like producers would like talk about it more, like really go into depth as to why.
They were.
Like, I can relate to her because I literally quit drag for like a year because of like depression, and I'm thinking I wasn't pretty enough to do drag.
I was going to say Magdalena's watching this now and she's like, oh yeah.
Yeah, I was like, my sister. So after the workroom, RuPaul comes out in this like ruby red gown, and the blonde hair. I don't know if you noticed it. The way the light was shining on it, it had like green iridescent reflect going through it.
Girl, I find it so hard to remember any of her stuff.
And aren't you the hair girl?
I am, but like, I don't know. I just can't remember it. Like, it's just glazed over for me.
Normally now I don't care about like guest judges as in to mention them, but the guest judge this week is T.S. Madison. Yeah, who is an iconic trans woman who has a lot of funny memes. My favorite of hers is Faggot. Ooh, what you say, Queen? She's like,
okay, I thought you were gonna say your favorite one was the one where she was like, I'm a big dick bitch, and then she does this and she's like wobbling.
I just love her. I wish there was more room. Like, instead of Ross, take T.S. Madison. Instead of Ross, get like Nicole Byer. Someone like that who's hilarious and can actually be funny, because I don't think Ross is funny. But anyways, RuPaul is the main runway is Beat It, B-E-A-D. I thought he said Beat It, and I was like, what is that? I only got he said Beat when Denali came out. So Denali comes out as a chandelier, which is good. I actually liked it.
It's nice. It was really good. No, like, I mean, I've never worn anything that extravagant. It was really nice. But yeah, it was good.
Following Denali is Rosé as this like, it reminded me of like a German girl, but like in traditional German outfit. Does that make sense? There's something about it that was German to me, and there was like beads the whole way down. I just felt her head was too big for something that small and petite. Does that make sense?
Kind of, but I thought it worked. Like, she was like, I don't know if she said Tinkerbell or they did, but it did look like Tinkerbell. But I get you, like the color scheme was very like disco dancery.
Yeah. And then following Rosé is Lala Ree. I love this. I want this. It was very like J-Lo, Shakira in concert, showstopper, stripper kind of beads. I loved it. I didn't realize it was a rip until Michelle mentioned it, but just from the runway itself, I liked it. Did you like Lala Ree's? No. Not your iconic favorite.
No, I just I don't
Just
think so.
impressed. Following Laurie is got Mick as red anal beads. It was literally anal beads in like a Dalek. It's just like a red gay Dalek with anal beads. I didn't particularly enjoy it.
It was probably one of the better ones. No, no.
I wouldn't say just because there was something about it I didn't like. I thought it would have been like even if she had done like as if her body, so like say at the bottom, like a snowman basically. So like the biggest ball would start at her feet and then go into a smaller ball and goes a whole way up out of her head and then trail out the way it did. There was something about the 60s dress aspect I didn't like about it. I didn't fall in love with this. Following Gottmik is Olivia as like a little double Dutch girl who plays a little black girl who plays double Dutch. Basically, I loved it. It was
Candy's wig.
Did she wear Candy's wig?
Yeah, do you remember Candy was Dora Explorer with the school bags, and it seemed like the same hair, but it had different beads on it.
That's what I was wondering because I knew I was comparing it to Candy's look, but I was like, am I just like thinking it's similar? But now that you say the wigs were similar, it probably might have been that someone lent the wig. So either Candy lent Olivia the wig or Olivia lent Candy the wig. But there's something similar about it.
Yeah, now unless they both happen to have really similar wigs, which they could.
They
I
could have
literally
that
thought
as well.
that's Candy's wig.
Yeah. Following up is Yuta as like the bloody bride, which is Tora. I liked the concept and I liked it, but from Utica we almost expect more. So overall it wasn't bad, but it wasn't great either. It was kind of a okay look.
Of her looks, it was probably the weakest she's had.
Yeah, of her look, it's probably her weakest.
It's still really good. It was like her standards been so high that it was kind of not the best for her.
Yeah. So then after Utica, we have Candy in I love this. It was like that fur stole and like the massive hat to the side with all the beads dripping down. Very like rich white lady. I loved it. I think this is probably the best she's looked on Drag Race.
Yeah, I agree.
I adored it. Third last is Simone as this like African warrior queen with the beads the whole way down. And in the back, the hair spelled Simone. But this is literally identical to what Jada Essence Hall did on a cover. So Jada wore this exact outfit walking down the street in LA with Jada in the back for her hair. So I'm wondering, was it a coincidence or did Simone take inspiration from Jada or did Jada take inspiration from Simone? But whatever happened, this was actually stunning.
I don't know, like there's something about Simone, it's like she looks like to me always very minimal. And I was like, yeah, okay, she's got the hair. It's a hair outfit. It's like all braids.
Yeah.
But I don't know, like I really wasn't bothered about it. I didn't think it was fantastic.
Maybe it's just not your like taste of aesthetic. Maybe you're
I
just
think her
not.
taste might be different to mine. Yeah, I just don't seem to get like her looks.
Yeah. So second to last is Tina, who comes out and like it was kind of clownish, but the material looked like curtains, and then she tore off the lower part of the dress to become like a short dress that was still terrible, and then revealed titties. It was a departure from the red and yellow, which I think we all appreciate, but it was not nice. It wasn't great.
I appreciated that she had like 2 reveals.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sitting here with like no nails on and like fucking a bodysuit, and I'm like criticizing everyone, but I don't know. I suppose we expect a lot from them, and I'm just not blown away. Like I remember people like Aquarian, Miss Cracker, and I'm just nobody for me this season is anything like that.
Yeah. So last but not least, Elliot comes out as this 1920s flapper girl, which I loved it. It was so simple, but also really stunning.
They said it was the best she's looked, which I don't think it was the best she's looked.
No, not by a long shot, but it was still a nice outfit.
It was a nice outfit, yeah.
But it wasn't up to like her pink card print thing that she made herself for the ball bag.
Or her like white one that she did with the kind of quiff, like that was really nice. I thought she looked really pretty.
But then again, the judges don't often make great remarks. Like, I don't really trust the judges anymore. So being the runway and the main challenge, the tops and the bottoms are Lalaurie, Utica, Olivia, Candy, Simone, and Elliot. And then Olivia won. Did you agree though that Lalaurie and Elliot were bottom two?
Who was the third one that was bad? It was Utica, was it?
Utica.
If it was my choice out of that whole thing, I mean, like everyone was probably going harder. Like, even though I didn't find it funny, you couldn't really say they didn't try. Like, I don't really understand why Olivia was such a big deal. I didn't find her funny at all. So,
no, like if I had my way, I would have had Lalaurie and Utica on bottom two because Utica was shocking the whole way around. At least Elliot had some like level and really tried. But I think the producers knew that if Utica was put against either Lalaurie or Elliot, she was going home. Because I think Elliot and Lalaurie are both very strong performers.
Yeah, I think this was one of the times where they considered their past performance to decide who should be in the bottom. Because she'd been so strong, and like Lalaurie and Elliot have kind of like messed it up a few times now. So I think they were like, okay, you need to prove yourselves.
Yeah, these two girls are very middle of the road, but it kind of a slap in the face to how the competition works. She not put Utica in the bottom when she really was one of the worst people there. One of the worst people from the acting challenge, yes. I'd say the improv, Utica was like, she deserved to be safe over Elliot. I thought Elliot had something going on. Like she actually.
Yeah, actually, now that you say that, it's true. But I think they edited Utica to almost look worse. Like they gave bad reactions to her performance.
That could be true. I also forget about the edit. But anyways, and it is Lalaurie and Elliot who end up in the bottom two, and they lip sync to A Whole Lot of Woman by Kelly Clarkson. This is the first time in a lot of seasons I've actually gone back and re-watched lip sync. I love this lip sync. My favorite part was when Lalaurie and Elliot like walked in the same direction, and then they like, when the beat dropped, they kind of slow grinded dance the floor together, and Elliot just turned it out. What do you think of the lip sync?
I thought they were going to give it to Lalaurie the whole time because they kept looking at her and laughing. But then Elliot went into all the acrobatics and she really pulled it back to her. So I have to say, like, congrats to her for like taking it back in a moment where they were going to get rid of her. Yeah,
Elliot really kind of lived in the song. Like Lalaurie was good, but there was something like Elliot, the way she moved was like you couldn't take your eyes off her. But I kind of hated it because from the start, I loved both Lalaurie and Elliot. Like I adored them, and now it's my two faves in the bottom tier, and I was kind of raging about it. But when Elliot won, I was like, it's agreed, because I went back to and rewatched it, and I couldn't take my eyes off Elliot. But yeah, then Lalaurie leaves. The same as Tamisha. She's someone I could see being an all-star. I think with money and time touring, she's going to be a phenomenal drag queen. I think she's only like, what, 3 years old? 2, 3 years old?
Lalaurie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I suppose considering that, that makes her a bit better. But like, I was actually thinking like, I don't think there's anything this girl that can do that I'd find impressive at this stage, because she's kind of had so many chances and I've never really found her to be like interesting or you know, a standout person.
Yeah.
So I feel like I'd be in such a bitch, but like I don't know what else to say, because like if we were talking about UK Drag Race, I'd be so excited. I had so many things to say about so many people, but this season, the American one, I'm just like, I'm just not impressed.
Like, did you have any standout moments in this episode at all?
I was hopeful when Gottmik came out because I thought the way she started, I was like, okay, she's not going completely slapstick ridiculous straight away. She's kind of doing a bit of dry humor, which I like. So I thought it was going to go somewhere, but it never did.
Yeah.
And other than that, really, there was nothing. Like there was nobody that I thought, oh, I did not chuckle at anything. Did you? Like, did you actually laugh? Did you have a proper laugh at anything?
I mean, like, I smiled a bit as if I was, no, like, it was fine to watch, like, if it was on TV. It was like there's something on TV that you weren't necessarily drawn to, and you, like, chuckled around again, but you didn't really want to watch it, but because you were watching it, you had to find it funny. But no, like, after UK Drag Race, it's hard to really warm to US Drag Race. Like, I'm finding it almost like a struggle to discuss it because you're not as excited as UK Drag Race.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't have the same style. Like, I'm watching US Drag Race almost out of habit at this point. Like, I haven't watched any of the Untucked, but normally, like, I will go and find the Untucked straight away after. But this season, I just haven't done it. I think UK Drag Race is really pulling ahead as like the better format of the show.
Yeah. I mean, I'm always laughing at UK Drag Race. Like the things they say in the workroom and the comments they just make, I just find them so funny. Like, you know, when Tia was being criticized and she was talking about how like, oh, she thought Michelle was going to ask her if she could get it in her size or something. Like I was dying. Like, so that was so funny.
Like she didn't cry or anything, which was good. But wrapping up this kind of shit show review because I was busy and I was kind of forced to be compact. Serena, once again, where can everyone? Huh?
I said, oh, I got busy. Sorry.
I got so busy. Sorry. But yeah, where can everyone find Serena online?
On her Instagram at its_Serena. You can find me on Reddit as well at its_Serena. If anybody uses Reddit, which I feel like people probably don't.
The Reddit plug, I love that. But anyways, you will be returning next week. As always, we might get you to do a UK Drag Race as well, considering it's some more fun.
Yes, please.
But thank you once again for joining me and for giving very insightful opinions, very respectable opinions, especially like Simone. It's always appreciated. Thank you so much, Serena.
Not at all.
Bye-bye.
Bye.